Greetings, fans. I was thinking of, I did a week one NBA fantasy update on all my leagues, and I got some good feedback on that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little rundown on all my fantasy leagues with the exception of one. I do an update on that league on its own every week, and I figure it's probably the same people watching. So we'll touch on it maybe, but um, I guess I'm just going to do a quick rundown of my fantasy football results for week 8. So the one I have on the screen right now is a guillotine league, and if there's one thing I want y'all to remember about this league, regardless of whatever else I say, I am never doing another guillotine league. It's just too stressful. I was in another one. I ended up eliminated. I think I made it to about week 4 or 5. I am still alive in week 9 in this guillotine league. For those that don't know what it is, the team that finishes last in scoring every week is cut. All their players go back into the waiver wire, and the remaining teams get to kind of, I don't know, feeding frenzy off of that roster. I had 1 week, 2 weeks ago, where I spent all of my free agent money because it was pretty simple. If I did not get Rico Dowdle when Chuba Hubbard was out, I was going to be eliminated. At least chances were extremely good. So I spent all my money on Rico Dowdle, which has not panned out poorly. The problem, of course, is I'm now out of fab money. The only way you can get fab money back is to trade somebody for money. And if nobody wants to do that, then you just don't get to bid on anyone. And you have to have $1 to get a player. You can't bid zero. So I'm at zero money. I do have a full lineup for this week. And there's my Dowdle. But I've got Goff, Dowdle, Jacobs. I've got Moore, who's questionable. I've got Samuel, Ertz, and Kupp. I had Mariota in because Jaden Daniels was out. If given the opportunity, I would cut him and pick someone else up. But again, I don't have any money. I do have Jacobs backup in Wilson, and I do have Dowdle's backup in Hubbard. So I am handcuffed in pretty good shape there. I did spend $1 picking up Benson. He's on IR, but he should be coming back. And I do have a bye week to worry about with Hubbard and Dowdle off week 14. So I kind of picked up Benson a little speculatively. I can trade him for fab money if somebody wants him, and that's probably my best ticket. Or if I still have him on week 14 and he's playing, which is two kind of big ifs, then he can maybe take that other running back spot. But then I picked up Higgins this last week because I had Nico Collins. I actually cut Nico Collins. And again, this is the kind of league where you end up doing crazy stuff like that. And so I would trade him for some fab money. And then I have Smith, who's on a bye, who I would also trade for fab money. But the only real problem with this roster, I guess, is there's going to come a point at which when week 12, when Ertz is off, I do not have another tight end. So I'll be running that week without a tight end. And that's pretty much the only problem. I've got every other spot filled. The rest of the season, I've looked, and if I have to just roll with it, I'll just roll with it. The problem is if Goff gets hurt, and then all of a sudden, Mariota's on the bench, I got no quarterback. So I would definitely trade for some fab money if I could get it. And I'm not sorry I spent all my money, because there was a week where, in my opinion, had I not done that, I would have lost. Now, I will also say the guy I was worried about picking up, Dowdle, he didn't put a bid in on Dowdle. So I guess I could have taken the chance and just gotten away with it, but he should have. Because if he had, he would be alive now and I wouldn't be. It would be that simple. So, I don't know. In the end, that's a guillotine league. I'm never doing one of these again. I also was in a Survivor League this year. I'm never doing one of those again. I had the Cardinals against the Titans in like week 4 or 5 or whatever it was. And the Cardinals literally just gave the game away. And again, I'm just not doing those leagues anymore. So I'll keep you updated as long as I'm in it. But right now, probably not going to worry about it too much. This is a family league that I was asked to join, and I've been doing really well in this one. It's only an 8-team league, so the rosters are pretty stacked. Everybody's got a really good team. But if you'll notice, I do have a waiver wire transaction already. I'm trying to pick up Trey Benson and drop Darnell Mooney. So kind of the same deal. I'm kind of hoping that in the long run I can capitalize on Benson coming off the IR. Drake May has been a revelation. I'm really glad that I ended up with him. I thought it would give me how I acquired him, actually, via draft pick or whatever. And I'm just, oh, there it is. He's drafted by the 14th round. So he has been worth every penny of a 14th round pick. That's for sure. Drake May. Bijan, I'm pretty sure I picked him first. The combo here of Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor is almost unbeatable this season. And I will say in my other leagues, there were some other leagues I let Jonathan Taylor go. And I used that as a motivator to, when I'm picking a new team or a new redraft or whatever, I will prioritize some of those guys just to balance out my risk. CeeDee Lamb's been hurt a little bit, but when he's playing, he's awesome. Olave's been kind of a nice surprise. Bowers has been amazing, but he's been hurt for a while, so I'm really looking forward to him coming back. And then look at these flexes. I've got Devontae Adams, Drake London, Rashee Rice, who I hung on to. Actually, maybe I picked him up now I think about it. I did. I picked him up October 12th. I did pick him 15th round, but I had to let him go, and then I picked him back up. So good for me on that. And then Brock Purdy's been a little in and out. But we do have a super flex in this situation, so we are starting both. First time I'll mention this, typically on kickers and defenses. I prefer leagues without them. I've played in several leagues that don't have them anymore, and I like it that way. When I do play with them, I tend to stream every week. So I will cut a defense and pick up another defense, cut a kicker, pick up another kicker every week. So I never keep more than one on a roster, really. And generally just like to keep them interchangeable. If I do happen upon a hot kicker or a hot defense, I will ride that. I'll just carry it out, see how long that goes. But for the most part, I will cut a defense and a kicker and pick some up every week. I also will not use waivers for that. I'll wait till waivers run. And if people want to use waivers for that on their team, that's fine. But I'll wait till waivers run, and then I'll just pick whatever's left and go from there. I find them to be pretty interchangeable. I really do. Had a couple of leagues last week, though, where I had a couple of different defenses that scored in the negative, which was not good. Marks I picked up off the free agent pile. I think Hubbard I did too, didn't I? Yeah, I picked him up off waivers. I was really shocked at that, but his role is kind of going down. I just picked up Bigsby. Pearsall's tough because he's hurt all the time. I do have my waiver in, and if I get it, I'll lose Mooney. Waddle's been kind of great now that Hill's been out. Wan'Dale Robinson, I have started him many weeks. And Hunter Henry is someone I think I picked up off the waiver wire. He was someone I targeted in drafts and never could get. And in this case, I guess I could have because it doesn't look like anyone drafted him. But there did come a point where I decided I would put him on. Notice the IR. I have Evans and Godwin, and I also picked up, is this one I drafted or picked up? I drafted him in the 7th round, Garrett Wilson. So to me, that team just looks incredibly stacked. It looks awesome. So if I go to the standings on this one, which I think I can. Sleeper's not going to let us see the standings, actually, so no worries. I think in this league I'm in first place. I'm doing really well. 6-2, I think, is where I'm at in that one. This was Quitting Time was my first Dynasty league ever, and I find myself doing a lot of trading in this league just because I think it's fun. I did win this league last year. I had some excess draft capital that once the trade deadline hit and I was sitting in a pretty decent spot, I made a lot of trades for a lot of players with a lot of picks, and I rolled through the playoffs and won. This year's been a little bit more of a struggle. I'm 3-5. I am playing a team that's favored to beat me. In fact, I just traded Derrick Henry to him. Number one, I had not looked ahead on the schedule, and I probably should have. But number two, I'm not a. I think Derrick Henry's a little bit of a coin flip. He can dominate. He can carry your team if he's doing well. He can also kill you if he's not. So I was a little bit happy to unload him. I only had him for 1 week. I traded for him for a bye week, and then I traded him right away. And I ended up getting a second-round pick and Jacoby Myers, who is someone who I'm kind of looking at, especially approaching the NFL trade deadline. I want to see where he ends up. I think it might be a good thing. So 3-5, I consider that to be on pace. But if I lose this week, it starts to get really, really tight as far as making the playoffs. So basically at that point, I think you just got to win out. And I would rather not get in that situation until I'm at least 5-5 and then see what happens. But as the defending champion, I will say, even though I'm borderline playoff team, I kind of felt like I owed it to the league to give it my best shot to try and repeat. If we don't win it this year, we can go into a shell a little bit maybe and try and rebuild whatever we need to rebuild. But lots of trades in this league. I really do enjoy it. It's 3-5. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely got good people in it, and it's a good time. So 3-5 in this league and sitting just outside the playoffs right now, but trying to make moves and get in. I do have a shot maybe at trading some more picks for another player that might impact some things, and I'm thinking about it, but we'll see how that goes. This is the league that has its own video, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. In fact, you can see in the league chat over here, I've already posted this week's update. But once again, my favorite league and probably just my favorite group of people ever. And we won't spend too much time on that. I did put together a dynasty team. I had said I didn't want to necessarily do that because I had too much going on, but I'm kind of glad I did, number one, because my time is a lot different now. I actually do have time to deal with these. And this is the league that I suck the most in. You'll notice my net record is 4-12. Last year I finished 7-21. So I am pretty much on pace for the same. Although this last week I beat the first place team. I had my best week ever. So just know this is my worst team, and I am set up again to lose this week once again. So lots of trades in this one. In fact, I'll even tell you in the startup, I probably overdid it a little in that I traded in the startup draft. I traded back, I traded around. I ended up with Anthony Richardson, who is now in my taxi squad with like my first pick. And I didn't even have a first round pick after all my trading. I think I picked him up in the second round. So Anthony Richardson is on my taxi squad. Which is not showing right now. Oh, it'd be over here, I guess. Here he is on my taxi squad. It has been a little bit nuts as far as watching this team just tread water. It just never seems to catch a break. I did have McConkey in some leagues. I traded him away in some leagues and then came back with him. Just because I'm trying to find that mix that's going to work. So this is kind of where this league has come from. I got Marvin Harrison in here, who's been meh. Daniel Jones has probably saved my bacon more than anything, and otherwise I might not have won a single game. But I picked him up in a trade that some might have considered ill-advised at the time. I traded Daniel Jones, Khalil Herbert, and Troy Franklin. I got those three, and I gave away McLaughlin, Estime, and a second-round pick. Right now, I'm the winner of that trade for sure. Daniel Jones has been awesome. We did last week beat the number one team, so we're still moderately alive in that one, but we got to keep on going. A couple of random dynasty leagues here. Now, this was a team that I had not planned on trading a lot. And then people offered me deals I could not refuse. So I traded away Amon St. Brown, who's one of my favorite players ever. I traded away Trey McBride, which was a little upsetting for me, but again, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. And I also traded away Deebo Samuel, one of my favorite players. But I got a ton of picks. In fact, if I show you guys the picks that I have 3 first-round picks next draft. And I'm actually in this league trying to hang on to them. That the players that I gave up to get those, I feel like deserve me to keep those. So I'm not really planning on dealing those. I also have 3 second-round picks. 4 second-round picks next year. So I have 7 of the first 24 picks, which is pretty impressive. And I intend to kind of take those picks, or at least use some, maybe trade up a little bit, stuff like that. So, target who I want and go get them. I would also just point out real quick, there's too much down here. I don't even have roster space for all these guys, so I'll be making some trades there. I also have 2 first-round 2027 picks, as well as 2 second-round 2027 picks. So I'm really set for the future in this team. And to be honest, this year I picked up Dart, who was in my starting lineup. And I've kind of got some young, good players. I ended up picking up Metcalf in the Amon-Ra St. Brown trade, and he's worked out okay. I also have McMillan, who I drafted this year, and Prescott and Love, who are both pretty young and probably going to be starting for their teams for a while. Ayo Minor was kind of a revelation. I'm glad I ended up grabbing him. I ended up with Ridley in one of the, I think that might have been the Deebo Samuel trade. He has been kind of a meh, to be honest. So he's been sitting on my bench. And, look at this taxi squad. I've got Loveland. I've got Tootin, who I do think has a future in Jacksonville. Arroyo, who's been a decent tight end. And I think this Hunter guy might end up taking over for Williams when he's gone. So this team's not done, but its record is 3-5, and I'm not sure why. It's been a little weird to me to watch this team struggle. I know I gave away some star power, but it just seems as like it struggled more than it should have. So I'm playing the number 1 team, one of the number 1 teams this week. And if I go to 3-6, I think that rebuild might start sooner than I thought it would. That's for sure. Romper Room 3.0 is a league. I ended up kind of jumping into this league in the middle of a season. There was a trade offer that had been sitting out there for a while. I traded away Metcalf and got some draft capital. I ended up making it to the playoffs as the 8th seed. There are 16 teams in this league, and I made it as the 8th seed my first year. I made it all the way to the Super Bowl and lost. The next year, I went into it with Christian McCaffrey, who was hurt, and I went into it with Pacheco, who was hurt. I traded both of those away. I think I started 1-7 and just decided that's that. And by the way, I finished that season. I think I finished 6-8. As soon as I traded those guys away, my team kind of caught fire. So we are 4-4, and we are in playoff contention. I think we're in pretty good shape. And we should take care of the Trash Pandas this week. That is a team that I usually beat. So for the record, it was kind of my first dip your toe into a public dynasty that you don't know anybody. And what it's done is it's led me into a lot of my fantasy NBA stuff and that sort of thing. But none of my teams are necessarily dominating, with the exception of maybe that family league that I am in first place. But everybody's team is stacked, so I don't know that the odds are necessarily in that team's favor, if you know what I mean. I'm sitting at 3-5, 4-4 in a lot of leagues, and just kind of plugging along, which is fine. I would say, and as a general rule on a Week 8 fantasy football update, anytime your team is sitting at 3-5 after 8 weeks, you're probably okay. You've probably played some tough teams. You probably got a little schedule winch in there where you scoring okay, but everybody's scoring against you really well. And my recommendation is always, after those first 2 sets of 4 weeks, those first 2 quarters, if you will, if you're 3-5, keep going. You're not out of it yet. Doesn't necessarily mean make a bunch of trades and try and really make a run, but it definitely means don't sell everything at the trade deadline necessarily. See how it goes in week 9, and if in week 9 you're 3-6, then it's maybe time for the fire sale. But if you get to 4-5, you're on pace. You're fine, and you just keep on doing what you're doing. So that's kind of the dividing line for me, and that's pretty much all my fantasy football teams as it relates to sleeper. I will throw a couple more in here. This one, there's 2 leagues I do on Yahoo. This one's a family league, and I'm doing okay in this one. I'm 5-3, and I'm in 4th place. I also have Jackson Dart starting because I think I've been streaming quarterbacks. Yeah, I think I might have started with Burrow in this league, and he was hurt week 1, week 2, and so I've just been going with the hot hand. And right now it's Jackson Dart, so I'm 5-3 in this league. No money. There are several teams that aren't paying attention, but it's kind of fun. So we do this one in Yahoo. This one's moderately serious. I'm also 5-3, and I'm in 3rd place. These are friends that I have been in this league now this is my 8th year, 9th year, something like that. And I have finished 2nd in this league. I think it's 4 times, and I've won it twice. I've done very well. So I got Kyler Murray starting this week because I got Hurts on a bye, and really struggled at wide receiver in this league. Finally, I got Rashee Rice, and he was one I hung on to for the first 6 weeks while he was suspended. But I finally got him back, and this just wide receiver 3 position has just been really hard this year. I've been trying to work in McLaurin, but he's always hurt. I've been trying to work in Franklin. Sometimes he pays off, sometimes he doesn't. And Pearsall, who again is sometimes hurt. So that is my what I call my support group team. It's a long story, that's for sure. But I have 3 leagues on ESPN, and this is what I'm doing with family member Joseph. Shout out to Joseph. We're doing pretty good in this one. We're 4-4, and I got to be honest, we've caught some bad breaks. I think otherwise we'd be doing better, but we kind of locked down that last playoff spot for now, and we've had to go with without Jaden Daniels a few weeks, and we've just been kind of playing that grind out the roster game. We sort of have to keep putting people in, taking people out, and making it work. But that team I think is going to be okay. This is a nothing league that some kids at a school that I used to work at put together. I'm 6-1. And I'm a little surprised I lost a game. But that one, there's people not paying attention in that one too. This one is one that we do take a little seriously at a former school I worked at. I'm 5-3 right now. Everyone makes the playoffs. In fact, this is the one league. I'll show you the standings. We've got 12 teams. We've got 1 team being run by the computer, which I've already predicted is going to be probably the winner. But all 12 teams are going to make the playoffs, which means the top 4 teams will get a bye. And we just do a free-for-all at the end. It's a 4-week free-for-all, and whoever can get hot at the end is the winner. I am the 2-time defending champion of this league. I usually go in as the number 1 seed, but this year I'm the number 4. So, we'll kind of see how that goes. But that's kind of where we're at on all of my fantasy leagues. And believe it or not, I don't spend a ton of time on this. In fact, what I could do with you guys is put together a video of, on Tuesday mornings, I probably spend 15-20 minutes putting together whether or not I'm going to do waivers. On Wednesday mornings, I go through and I do my kickers and my defenses, and I just see if there's any free agents that didn't get waivered that should be picked up. Thursday, I set whether or not any Thursday night players are in my flex spots. I move them. I don't put any flex spots on Thursday night, and that comes in handy later in the week if you've ever had a hurt player or somebody gets the flu or whatever. I try to take a little bit of a break on Friday, Saturday. Sunday morning, believe it or not, I try to look ahead to the next week. I look and see if there's any free agents I should maybe be picking up for the next week, because I want that Sunday morning, I want to be ahead of the game, basically. So, all day Sunday, I try to follow it a little bit. Mondays, I try to follow it a little bit. I don't watch a whole lot of football these days. I listen to it on the radio. And then you're back to Tuesday. So, we'll put a video together on that sometime for sure. But that's your Week 8 fantasy football update for all of my leagues, with the exception of one because it has its own video. And if anybody has any, questions, feedback, or anything, you're welcome to shout out. All right. Everybody stay safe out there, and I'll check in with you next week.